Boom! New stock earnings just got released, and holy smokes, the stock is up as much as 12% at the opening hours. Damn, seems like investors really love this earnings report. So today we're going to break it down. Also, I'm going to let you know 2 exciting good news. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you 1 bad news. And this is something that I wanted to get off my chest, but I couldn't find the great opportunity to do so. And since there's lots of good news right now, you guys can more easily digest bad news. So I'll leave that at the end. Most of you guys don't watch to the very end. So some of you guys won't know this bad news. So yeah, I'll leave it to the very end. Don't forget to sign up with Moomoo. You can get up to 16 free stocks when you open an account and deposit some money. 16 free stocks is no joke at all, so please try to take advantage of that. And once again, I tell you guys, buy NIO. It's very good. The quality is awesome. You're not gonna be like disappointed with the quality of the car. Buy NIO here in China, or if you're not in China, buy NIO wherever you are, as long as they have it for sale there. All right. So what is the good news? The good news is there are rumors that the government is looking to standardize battery swapping. Standardizing as in standardizing the battery dimensions so that battery swap stations and cars all use the same battery pack. This could potentially be very good news because NIO's battery swap station, especially 3rd gen swap stations, can hold all sorts of battery sizes. That means whatever standard it is in the future, NIO's 3rd gen swap stations are able to service those cars. This is also why NIO is deploying swap stations, 3rd gen swap stations like crazy, just building them out like crazy, because this could potentially be happening. Good news number 2, ET5 wagon has already arrived in a lot of showrooms, new houses, new spaces, and also the brand new ES8 is also in a lot of showrooms as well. These 2 new vehicles are about to start delivery very, very soon, which is also very, very good news. Very quick first impressions from the people that has actually been inside the car. I haven't been inside the car yet, but the ET5 wagon seems to have a lot more rear headroom, and also the front seats on the ET5 wagon seems to be lowered by 1 centimeter. And even though that 1 centimeter doesn't seem like a lot, according to the people that actually tested it out, it makes a big difference. All right, let's move on to earnings. All right, so total revenue in the first quarter of 2023 was US $1,554.6 million. So this is an increase of 7.7% from the first quarter of 2022 and a decrease of 33.5% from the fourth quarter of 2022. So overall increase in revenue, that's kind of expected because you sold more vehicles. But if you look at it clearly, vehicle sales in the first quarter represents a decrease of 0.2% from the first quarter of 2022 and decrease of 37.5% from the fourth quarter of 2022. We explained this in a previous video. The product mix is a lot cheaper, more ET5s being sold. They also talked about it here, higher proportion of ET5, and also a lot of subsidized sales, which we also talked about. Other sales in the first quarter. This is very interesting, and this was pretty surprising for a lot of people. Other sales, US $211.4 million, representing an increase of 117.8% from the first quarter of 2022, an increase of 11.3% from the fourth quarter of 2022. So that's a pretty big, massive increase from first quarter of 2022. What is it mostly about? Well, I want to first put the bad stuff first, all right? The bad stuff is NIO Life isn't really earning much money. I'll probably talk about it in another video if you guys are interested. So NIO Life not earning money, but NIO's service revenue has been pretty high, and even though for the customers it's free, but the end insurance bill is massive. So they actually charge the insurance companies a whole lot, and we've heard about the story about ES6 owner. His car got into an accident, and when he got it repaired, the repair cost was around 114K or something. But then after the repair, his vehicle was only worth 85K, which is pretty interesting. Like, the cost of repair is higher than the actual cost of the vehicle. That just comes to show that they're charging really high prices to the insurance company, and that's where they're getting a lot of money from. Also, what you guys didn't know is NIO is offering upgrades to the chips on the car. So, for example, the older system upgrade, which I did not get, but some people, a lot of people actually got that upgrade. You upgrade the chip to the 8155 chip, you get 5G antenna, you can upgrade the camera to 360-degree camera. Very good upgrades, and it's not that expensive, only about like 10,000 RMB, around roughly 2,000 US dollars. So it's not that expensive, but everybody's getting that. A lot of people getting that. It makes the car much better. Cool. Moving on. Cost of sales was US 1,531 million, representing an increase of 24.2% from the first quarter of 2022 and a decrease of 31.9% from the fourth quarter of 2022. Gross profit for the first quarter of 2023 was US 23.6 million, representing a decrease of 88.8% from the first quarter of 2022 and a decrease of 73.9% from the fourth quarter of 2022. Pretty big decreases in gross profit. Gross margin in the first quarter of 2023 was 1.5% compared with 14.6% in the first quarter of 2022, 3.9% in the fourth quarter of 2022. It's a pretty big drop off. Vehicle margin was 5.1% compared with 18.1% in the first quarter of 2022 and 6.8% in the fourth quarter of 2022. So the decrease in vehicle margin from the first quarter of 2022 was mainly attributed to changes in product mix, more ET5 sold, and increased battery cost per unit. They had to, of course, we talked about this, they try to sell the Gen 1 vehicles at discounts. So they offered more discounts, of course, lower vehicle margins. Nothing too surprising. Moving on. Operating expenses, R&D, research and development. Oh, this is a big one. US 447.8 million, and this is the bulk of the expenditures, and representing an increase of 74.6% from the first quarter of 2022, decrease of 22.7% from the fourth quarter of 2022. Obviously, they gotta do a lot of R&D on what all the projects they're doing, phones, right, headphones, NT3, and also the current cars being released right now. There's also a lot of R&D work for that. Increased personnel costs in research and development functions, and increased share-based compensation. SG&A, the first quarter of 2023 was US 356.2 million, representing an increase of 21.4% from the first quarter of 2022 and a decrease of 30.7% from the fourth quarter of 2022. The increase in SG&A costs over the first quarter of 2022 was mainly attributed to one, increase in personnel costs related to sales and general corporate functions, and two, the increased expenses related to company sales and service network expansion. Yes, they're opening a lot of stores and at an incredible pace, which is pretty insane. And yeah, this is a big part of that. Cool. Loss from operations in the first quarter of 2023 was US 744.3 million. Ooh, pretty high number, representing an increase of 133.6% from the first quarter of 2022 and decrease of 24.1% from the fourth quarter of 2022. So losing way more money compared to Q1 of last year, but losing less compared to last quarter, which is to be expected. And to be honest, in my last video I told you guys I was expecting like that. So when we got this is pretty good. All right. So I had really low expectations, and even though these losses are pretty big, at the end of the day, it's better than what I expected. So kudos, very nice. And I think it's much better than what a lot of other NIO investors were expecting. So that's pretty good. Net loss in the first quarter of 2023 was US 690.1 million, representing an increase of 165.9% from the first quarter of 2022 and a decrease of 18.1% from the fourth quarter of 2022. So that's net loss. Balance sheet, $5.5 billion US dollars as of March 31st, 2023. And I just want to keep you guys noted that they really started kicking in swap station deployment in the last couple months, like April, May, and right now in June, they're kicking off massive deployment for swap stations. So in Q2, we're going to see a lot of those numbers come in, and could, they're spending money on it. So it's very logical to expect cash to dwindle down a tiny bit. Cool business outlook. Vehicle deliveries for the next quarter, for the second quarter, 23,000 to 25,000 vehicles, representing a decrease of approximately 8.2% to 0.2% from the same quarter of 2022. Really looking forward to the ET5 wagon and also the brand new ES8, the brand new ES6. How is that doing? There's lots of orders for that. People are very interested in that car, and obviously it is NIO's most affordable SUV so far, and that is up to technology. However, we'll have to see how many people actually pull the trigger, because there's a lot of pre-orders, but I can't say for sure that those pre-orders will all turn into actual orders. They expect total revenue to be between US 1,273 million and US 1,264 million, which is a decrease of approximately 15.1% to 9% from the same quarter of 2022. So we're expecting revenues to decrease in the next quarter, which is what we're in right now, Q2. That is very, very logical as well, because deliveries have been pretty bad this past couple months. So we'll really have to wait to see how the ET5 wagon and ES8 and the ES6 sells when those start kicking in. The deliveries for those guys, and they're not really kicking in right now because a lot of people that took delivery during these early days of the ES6 launch is mostly those blind orders. For example, I'm already a NIO owner. I tell the NIO sales rep, hey, I'm going to buy ES6 right away. Then they're not going to tell me the specs. They're not going to tell me the car, the color, and the price. I'm just basically going in with my money ready and buying the car when it launches. And there's not a lot of these customers. So that's why the delivery numbers for the ES6 hasn't been that impressive so far. However, a lot more people have gotten to test drive this car. It's the most requested test drive so far. We'll see a lot more deliveries of the ES6 in the next couple months. Okay? But one thing to keep in mind, that there is a little bit of controversy that I shouldn't hide from you guys, and that is the fact that a lot of the things that are standard on the ES6, which we think are just brilliant, has been a little bit controversial, because some people, and this is also apparent in my Chinese videos over in Bilibili, where I upload Chinese videos trying to like tell people to buy a NIO. A lot of the comments, some of these commenters, they say that the ES6, they chose the wrong specs to go standard. Matrix headlights, some people don't really care about that. Microfiber interior, which I have over here in my EC6, some people don't care about that. Heads-up display, some people don't care about that. What they do care about is seat ventilation and steering wheel heating, that kind of stuff. The comfort package, which you have to add on extra, and they were really kind of, some people were upset that that thing wasn't standard instead of the other stuff that they don't see that valuable. So that is where that tiny bit of controversy is. Some people have hesitated to lock in their pre-orders, from what I know, and that is just the reality of it. All right, and I guess you guys, even though the price is not affordable, I think it's still a very bang for the buck car, very good specs for the car. And just choose the comfort package. You choose the comfort package, it's going to increase the price a little bit. Who cares, all right? If you guys can afford the base price of the car, you can afford a little bit extra to get the comfort package that you guys want. Cool. So what is the bad news? guys, it's so cringy for me when I talk about bad news, because I don't want to like tell you guys this stuff, but then at the same time I feel guilty hiding it from you guys. And there's never a good way to tell you guys this bad news. And there's lots of bad news that I'm just like that I'm never gonna tell you guys. But maybe if you come to China and come to Beijing, I'll treat you to coffee. I'll buy you a cup of coffee, and I'll tell you all about it, but never on camera. Some of the stuff can't talk about on camera. But what is the bad news? The bad news, and I hope you're ready for this and don't hate me for it. Remember back a few videos ago, I talked about how one of the biggest NIO influencers in China, Dong Maima, he really trashed on NIO's auto parking team, Sapa team, and he said that these guys should be disbanded. NIO should disband these guys to save on cost, because the auto parking is absolute shit. That's what he said. All right. Well, what I didn't tell you guys, and this is something that I hid from you guys, especially my ES6 test drive video, is the auto parking is still very, very crappy. Still very, very shitty. So I'll roll the clip over here. Try the auto parking. Hi, Nomi. 自动泊车. I'm trying to auto park with the brand new ES6 latest operating system.
它会显示有很多的车位，这个位置。
Oh, how about we park somewhere that's a little bit more challenging?
对，可以随便点一个。清楚。
You see, this one has the ES8 right next to it.
对。
We're gonna click on this, let go of the. So there's another NIO that comes by me, and a couple seconds after it's gotten past me, then
Hands
the
are off
NIO
the steering wheel,
reacts
feet
to the
off
danger.
the throttle, and then it's gonna park by itself. 重新来吧，这个就这段剪了吧。
But by that time, the danger has already gone, and the NIO stops and cancels auto parking. Dude, the car is already like 3, 4, 5 meters away from this ES6, and then it reacted. So that was a real big shocker to me, and obviously for test driving reasons, I didn't want to show that to you guys because that was not something that really wanted to show to you guys. But we tried it again, and it was just not a great experience. And you'd think it would work every time because the auto parking into the swap station, that's auto parking, right? Every time I drive my NIO to a swap station, it auto parks in and it works pretty much fine. So you'd expect this thing to work really well, but for some reason it just doesn't. So that's something that really bothers me. I guess now you guys know auto parking is still pretty bad, and obviously they're probably gonna work on a fix for it, improve it. But that is something that I can finally get off my chest and let you guys know about it. So don't hate me for like telling you guys this. There's still like lots of room for improvement, and there's lots of room for improvement. Overall, NIO's earnings, not as bad as expected, but not good at all. 1.5% margins, not very good. Big losses, 700 million losses in a quarter, and Q2 losses are going to be even more intense than Q1. So there's going to be a bumpy road ahead, but hopefully deliveries are going to start picking up, and hopefully a lot of good stuff is there for us to unveil in the future. All right, look for a better future. Blue sky is coming. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.